baby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, baby.
This is the Sport Fishing Championship.
And this is the first day of stop number 10 of the Sport Fishing Championship, the 69th edition of the International Billfish Tournament from San Juan, Puerto Rico. We're at Club Nautico. You've heard that name before back when we were in the Dominican Republic at the CNSD, but this is the PR, Puerto Rico, and it is a fantastic host for this event as they make their way into this inlet and out this inlet for 3 days straight. Again, they've been doing this for 69 years. You could not ask for a better facility. You could not ask for a better fishery than what we have here on the final stop for the Sport Fishing Championship. Each one of these 58 boats lined up early at about 7:15 right there at the inlet at the castle. And they left at 8 o'clock this morning out towards these fishing waters, and they had a full day ahead of them. They just stopped about 30 minutes ago, or less than 30 minutes, but it was a shotgun start here at San Juan, like we've seen at a few events before. But what's something different as far as this event was concerned? You didn't see many small boats at all. The outboard motors you see on the officials' boat right there, that's the one. Everybody else is on a big sport fisher. When they fired off that flare and they sounded that horn, it was time to go. And it was a race to get out to these fishing waters, and they are fertile fishing waters at that. The depths that you can get to so fast, in 1.5 miles from this takeoff point, they could be catching blue marlin. And some of those anglers did just that very quickly. The 58 boats have been out all day today. They had about a 30-mile jaunt to the left, a 30-mile jaunt to the right that could be their fishing waters. As we look at our Garmin team spotter, you see 8 of our featured boats that are out there on the water trying to catch fish on all 3 days. We will crown a champion for this event, and even bigger than that, we will be presenting the Zane Grain Trophy and a $1 million prize for the champion of the Sport Fishing Championship's inaugural season. Let's take a look at some of our catch alerts throughout the day and the latest look at it. And that sound is a beautiful sound. From 10:05 to 11:16, you see a lot of blue marlin being caught as well as released. Sadi Victoria, Euphoria. You see a couple of Sadi Victoria catches. They are actually tied for the lead as it stands right now. Drillhound catching them early today. You see Drillhound at 12:10, about a midday catch. And oftentimes you'll see waves of catches. You see some from that 11:36 to 1:30. So in that 2-hour span, 4 blue marlin caught. In total, it looks like right about 19 or 20 blue marlin. And that should be about a tie for the most blue marlin we've had caught in a single day. But this is easily, by far, our best first day of the tournament on the Sport Fishing Championship. Again, these anglers had all the way from the left, Vega Baja to Fajardo, 30 miles each way. Our Sport Fishing Championship points as it stands coming into this event, quantified in the lead. They have a pretty good advantage over Moncherie. Rising Suns in this tournament as well, quantified making that trek. Rising Suns picking up a boat, Southern Charm, Skin Deep, and Rebecca. But again, the Sport Fishing Championship, it is about finding that one champion. We are making history here, the best of the best, but we had to cap it off at the International Billfish Tournament. They've been doing it for 69 years in a big way, and it's gotten even bigger and better as the years move on.
Club Nautico San Juan, we just celebrated this 90th year as a club. IBT has been 69 this year. IBT became an international tournament on the 50s when the Tourist Department of Puerto Rico asked the Congress of the United States to have a program here to explode blue marlin fishing. Nobody knew about blue marlin fishing, okay? And that it was so good. So they started coming here, tourists, charting, and started the first international tournament with 3 boats.
Fishing started in this club by the Department of Tourism. The first tournament was Puerto Rico versus New York. And then the second year, they invited to go to New York and fish, and then they came in, and then that's how it started. Now it's an international event, but we have also local clubs. It's beautiful because we get people from Venezuela, South Africa, Dominican Republic, Curacao. We have got from Brazil. In the past, we used to have from Spain. We have an Italian fishing this tournament, and the USA, which is being the number one participant international. Before, we used to have 100 boats, 80 boats. Now it's by invitation, and we only want to have 60 boats for the most competitive boats that we could find for the blue marlin fishing.
It's prestige, it's developer, it's innovating every year. We were the first one on releasing all release tournament. We were the first one who has circle hooks. We were the first one doing this. Everything, innovating. So we had learned a lot, and I think it's a great pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to be here for me. I love being on site with Site 1 and some of our featured teams. You see where they are at. That's only 3, 4, 5, up to 10 miles out from Club Nautico. It is an amazing facility, and we want to go on site with Site 1. Welcome, everybody, to our on-site set here with Site 1. I'm Robbie Floyd. To my left, Roger Casillas. Now you are the tournament chairman. We got to see that little piece right there. And Roger, you have to be proud about what this event has become. I was happy to come here because I've been hearing all the stories and about the fish catches, and we see the fleet actually coming in as we speak right now.
That's correct.
It gives me chill bumps just knowing where this started and where it's at this point.
Well, it's a great experience. We're making history here with you guys. Like Luis said, it's very innovative. We've made changes every year. You guys came to us last year, and we put everything in it. We said we're fortunate to be the closing tournament of the series, and you guys have done a tremendous job, so thank you.
The Zane Gray Championship Trophy will be presented in 2 days, and with that, a $1 million prize. But the thought behind it is not just a single tournament. This is a great tournament. We've partnered with some of the best tournaments around the country in international waters. It has to be cool to be a part of that, crowning that overall champion. It's not showing you're not good at just one event, but good throughout in taking this title.
That's correct. We just feel fortunate you're the boat leading the fleet there that's fished probably 4 or 5 tournaments, came all the way from South Padre Island to San Juan. Many miles, a lot of fuel, but they're here. You couldn't imagine how excited they were on the phone, calling me all weeks. We have a great spot for them. You got Rising Sun, you got Bandito fishing on another boat, so it's been great, and this is just the beginning. I think we're just going to have a great fleet coming from Sport Fishing Championships.
The sharing of the teams, we know Sisu gives up their boat. We saw them do well at the Dominican Republic. Actually, is that quantified that's coming in behind? I know we've got one of the blue bottom boats that are making their way.
That's Panama Jack there.
Panama Jack, okay. So, and one of the guys we saw earlier, he's on the Panama Jack, and they caught a fish earlier. You fish these waters often, right?
Yes, I see some of my teams. I haven't been able to fish the last 3 tournaments, so this is it's a lot of work. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and I decided to stay on shore and help you guys with all the process and the logistics. But some of my teams are there on the top. I got my high school friends on the Drill Hound. I got the Caramba, which we won this tournament a few years ago in that boat, and it's great to see them. Captain Luis is the guy on the mic earlier. That's a captain on that boat right there. Ricky Jaén, who just came through. Ricky Jaén was one of the ones that got me into this.
Right.
We started, doing tournaments at an early age, 1998, when we still.
And you're only 37 years old. I don't even know how that works.
You need to add a few years on.
As far as the international flavor, again, this isn't just a U.S.-based group or a Puerto Rican or a Dominican group. Talking about the variety and the places around the world that are known for billfish that make their way here because it is so accessible. I mean, I was 1.5 miles out, probably less than 2 miles, and we got a strike yesterday on a blue marlin.
Well, I was in the chase boat that you guys filmed there, and we went out. I think we saw one of the first boats get hooked up. I think that is the quantified coming in right there on our back. And so we were, like the fish were caught, like you said, east, west.
Right.
10 miles, give or take, 3 to 10 miles out. Very consistent in the morning. Sea conditions were perfect. And we have great waters. As you know, we have 22 fads out there that we just put out about 5 months ago. And they're producing.
And I was going to point that out. Blue Tide doing a great job. And you know, the nonprofit organization that brings the fish, you know, brings these fads to the areas. The fads bring the fish bring the people. They just keep feeding off of each other. I mean, I wanted to come here, and I don't get the opportunity to go out and offshore fish very often, but this is a place that I would vacation. This is a place I would go. Looking at the map here, this is just a few of them, but again, they're not very far. I mean, that's a 15, 20-minute run.
That is correct. You know, they're in the 3 to 5 mile range right there. Exactly where the fads are. You have a few boats to the west of that, and there is a few fads there. As you know, we have some underwater fads and we have top water fads. We have a lot of traffic coming into the harbor, so our second set of fads we decided to put underwater fads.
Subsurface.
So yes, correct, and they're deep enough that, you know, barge,
nothing's
cruise
gonna
ships.
get them.
Yeah, nothing's going to get them.
But it is pretty cool. And again, this is just a handful of what we've been seeing here with these fads. The Gale Force Twins, they'll be in our next segment and talk about those. Where is this tournament? I know it's an invitational tournament. How do you get invited to the IBT? Because this is 69th running. I said they kind of backed off those numbers because this is pretty sporty out there. 19 blue marlin that first day. I mean, it's still probably bumping elbows a time or two.
Yes, and we have a great reciprocity between our tournaments and Dominican Republic tournaments, as you saw earlier in May.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of their fishermen, good fishermen here, and we are, you know, we're very fortunate to get Latin Americans now, you know, a new group of guys with you guys, and we got guys even from South Africa this year.
It's kind of like a challenge of nations as well, and we'll talk about that international flair. Roger, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Robbie.
Stick with us here in a bit. Let's take a look at the things that are happening here at the IBT 69, the 69th running of this event, the Gale Force Twin. We talk about those fads, those fish aggregating devices. Well, they got to see them up close and personal here on the Sport Fishing Championship. I'm glad they did it. I don't think I would have gotten those deep blue waters. We'll be back with more from Sport Fishing Championship.
SFC coverage of the San Juan International Billfish Tournament is sponsored by Salt Life, by Seaholm Watches, and by Smith Optics.
Remember, everything begins in the morning. Every story told is a fisherman's tale. We build watches tough enough to be a part of that tale. The perfect balance of beauty and brawn. We are Seaholm. Watches that last a lifetime. Seaholm Automatic, the official timepiece of the Sport Fishing Championship.
See it, live it, love it. The largest in-water boat show in the world, the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. More than 3 million square feet, fishing boats to super yachts, engines, accessories, learning experiences, and culinary delights. Save the dates, October 26th through 30th. Details at flibs.com.
It all comes back to the water. This binding agent, this fluid history of connection. Past, present, and future, all tied together through this never-ending, unwavering force. We belong to a community of seekers, anglers, and everyone in between. For us, it's more than fishing, much more. It's who we are, who we were, and who we aspire to be. We are Smith.
Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about!
Sport fishing anglers from around the world competing for $1 million. The Sport Fishing Championship on CBS Sports Network.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Sometimes saying no can be really difficult. It's hard to set boundaries, to give yourself space and time. Hop water means never having to choose between having fun or missing out. A sparkling hop water full of flavor and packed with mood-boosting benefits. It's non-alcoholic with no calories, no carbs, and no sugar. So go out there and get up to no good.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua, a unique name honoring our island heritage and the vibrant spirit of our people. When you bask in the warmth of our beaches, when you taste the love in our food, when you embrace the call of our adventures, you'll find that spirit in yourself. Dare to live every moment. Live Boricua.
SFC coverage of the San Juan International Billfish Tournament is sponsored by Yugo, by Sword Fishing Products, and by Fish Razor.
You go, we all head towards San Juan International Billfish Tournament, the 10th and final stop. I love seeing that little sword advertisement because they sliced up some sashimi for me today, some yellowfin tuna from these waters on my birthday of all things. Let's take a look at our Garmin team spotter. Instead of birthday cake, I got birthday sashimi. Our 8 featured teams didn't go very far. Again, that 5-mile circle, take them 10, 15 minutes. We saw a first catch of the day in 30 minutes time, but we see teams that we had featured on there. And we're going to get you these fish catches tomorrow for our morning show as well as throughout the week. Ticaramba for sure has some, but again, the IBT 69th edition, it is a big-time event, and we have some big-time talent with us.
We are with Benny on the Blue Manta, the Marine Operations Coordinator. So can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing today?
Well, today is going to be a pretty exciting dive. We're going to head out about 4 miles out north of San Juan, and we're going to see what you see here on a mini scale is a fat. These fats are very old, but we recently deployed 22 fats all across the north from Arecibo to Rio Grande. This dive is going to be around 50 feet, but below us is going to be over 2,000 feet. So let's see what surprises we have.
So FADS, I mean, it stands for Fish Aggregating Device, and it can be any number of things. Over here, they've got some can buoys up on top, and they've also got some subsurface FADS, which are basically the same thing that are just, you know, say 50 or 75 feet below the surface. They're anchored to the bottom. They attract bait attracts predators, and so on and so forth. So the way I understand it is these guys over here are doing it out of their own pocket. There's no subsidies or anything like that. They're doing it just to try to help the local fisheries.
In 2015, you guys deployed FADS, and then you had a hurricane come through. Yeah. And then what happened after the hurricane, and when did you guys decide you wanted to start putting the FADS out again?
All the FADS were gone, completely gone. And these are other organizations, Legado Azul, needed to deploy 20-something FADS. We have the gear, we have the vessel. In a matter of around 20 days, we deployed all the FADS that were missing. Right now, we got superficial FADS that are on the surface, and we got underwater ones. And all these people, the anglers and the sport fishermen are going out there, and day to day, they're saying the rates of catching something, they're going over 100%. I'm gonna go first. Once in the water, I'm gonna make sure everybody's together and we drop down. That way, if there are any fish or sharks, I don't scare them first, so we got the higher chances of just making less disturbance down there.
The FADS are needed here in Puerto Rico because we don't have reef, we don't have coral. Everything is so deep. We need something to hold the fish, the marlin when it's going by, looking for food. You find food, stays here. No food, keeps on running. As long as there's fish and there is food, they don't go anywhere. So FADS here in Puerto Rico are needed. We have to place more and more and more and keep on learning about them.
We're trying to get like an artificial reef. We have 24 underwater FADS from Fajardo all the way to Arecibo, and we have 8 over water. And what we're seeing is just the first couple of months we didn't see the yellowfin tuna and the albacore. But the last month we're seeing the tuna has come back, the sardines are coming back, and we see more flying fish. So if we see more flying fish, and we see tuna, so we know that they're going to try the blue marlin. Okay, so now this is the first big tournament that we are going to test our waters with the underwater fat. This tournament, 69 years ago, was the first one of blue marlin. We want to place Puerto Rico again as the blue marlin capital of the world.
That was totally awesome. I would say, where on your bucket list would that land? Definitely top 5. I don't know very many people that can say that they scuba dive a fad. Thank you, Blue Manta with Blue Tide, for taking us out there. So great. We hope you get out there, have fun, and stay safe.
Well, we saw them out there in the cold waters of the Atlantic Caribbean mix. So I actually find out if it was cold blue waters, but they weren't very far offshore from Club Nautico and the mouth there as you enter into San Juan proper. On site with Site 1, we are joined by the Gale Force Twins. Welcome back, ladies. Amanda and Emily Gale. All right, first off, was it cold? I saw you with the suits on.
Yes, we had 3mm wetsuits. It was warmer at the surface, but by the time we got down 60 feet below, I would say it was a little chilly. I was totally comfortable with the wetsuit on. However, if we didn't have those wetsuits, it probably would have been a bit chilly. Funny you say that, because I was actually about to say no. I thought the water was very warm and nice. But I believe the water was like 80 degrees, but you're right. Once you did get below the surface, it gets into the 70s, which if you're underwater for an extended period of time, can get cold, but I thought it was nice and warm.
Yeah, many things to take from that feature. First was the current was ripping. I mean, we talk about the Hilton's real-time navigator all the time and these currents and how they move around. That current was hauling. You were holding on to each other, and that wasn't just for, let's hold hands. It was a necessity, wasn't it?
Exactly. We were trying to get deeper and closer to the fad, but there was a period where you kind of had to let go of the line to get even further down. So we figured, you know what? Let's hold hands, get a little further down, and that's exactly what we did. The current was absolutely ripping. If you looked, you could actually see we were pretty horizontal. It was nearly impossible to be upright, go vertical, because the current was just so strong.
And the speed you were talking is about 7 knots. That's about 7 or 8 miles an hour. That was almost the same speed that we were trolling yesterday, trying to catch fish going by these fads.
Exactly. So that's pretty much trolling speed. So you could just imagine if you're trolling on your boat for some mahi or whatever, marlin, hopefully.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're looking for. And we did not get to see any mahi or marlin on the fad. We saw the bait fish, though. It was fast. So it was like being dragged behind a boat at trolling speed. And if anybody's ever been lobstering and been towed behind a boat, that's kind of the feeling it was like.
We heard Luis and Ricky talking about the variety of fish that are starting to come in there. I know when we went by those fads, we started dropping tuna lures down, trying to catch those yellowfin. You said the triggerfish was probably about one of the most exotic or bigger fish. But again, you saw a lot of those smaller fish. Smaller fish bring mid-sized fish. Mid-sized fish bring the big fish. It's just build it and they will come.
Exactly. They dropped 22 fads in 45 days, which is just so unbelievably impressive. It takes a huge team of people to be able to do that. And the fact that these fads are there attract the small fish, attract the bigger fish, which therefore attracts the fishermen, and so on and so forth, before there's an entire economy built off of this fad system.
It was kind of a shame, but you always expected. I mean, hurricanes will work through there. We're in hurricane season right now, but it was sad that it decimated the previous set they have. But people like Blue Tide and everything going back and reinvigorating that area, and not only the surface ones, because those buoys are identifying where this fad is, but knowing that there's stuff under the water that these boats can't see and can't get in the way. I mean, just keeps bringing these big marlin into town.
They keep showing up, and some of these fads are on the surface where you can actually see them, and some are below the surface. The one we dove specifically was in 2,000 feet of water, so we only dove to the top of the fad, which was in around 50 to 60 feet of water, probably closer to 60 once we tried to kind of get underneath that drum. It was just such a great experience to get out there, and we like to call it a marlin drive-through, because the fish, they're migrating through Puerto Rico, they're traveling, and they might be on their way to Brazil or Cape Verde or wherever they're going, but when they come through, they're gonna, hey, I want to grab a snack before I go, so it's a great place to go catch some marlin.
I had a snack. I literally had some sashimi from a yellowfin tuna for my birthday cake today. I know you've been traveling around the world and doing stuff. I watch you on social media. Costa Rica has been the latest jaunt. You had to put this one right up there, though, don't you? I mean, 19 billfish, blue marlin caught on that first day. It's pretty awesome seeing the fads, Old San Juan. Everything about this place is really cool, isn't it?
Definitely. I have to say that even though there was no marlin or sharks or anything of larger size underneath the water with the FAD, it still is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And the fact that we can say that we got to scuba dive a FAD, I mean, that's got to be what, Amanda? Top 5, top 3 I would experience? say top 3, and if I got the chance to do it again, I would love to do it again, hopefully on a day with a little bit less current, but it was beautiful, calm, and slick out there, which usually never happens. So this weekend, the weather's really going to be picking up, and it is going to get rough out there. So when we were out there, we were told it's never this calm. You guys are so lucky.
Yeah, and the breeze is starting to come in now. Yesterday when I was out, it was a very calm day. I talked to Team Quantified. They didn't do as well as they did the day before, and they didn't stick any fish. They didn't catch any fish the prior day, but they did have the bites and knew that they could have caught them. Yesterday, it was slick, calm, and there's time that fishermen talk about it's just too slick. You know, oftentimes a fish will see that lure. They don't want to mess with it. Oh, that's not right. Fish raiser, you know, they're back there making it look like it, but they get a taste of a non-real fish, and they don't want any part of it. I think we're getting closer to really, really good conditions as this wind picks up.
As the wind picks up, I think it will be more ideal. When it's super slick like that, it might be nice to be on the boat and be nice and calm, but it does get very, very hot, and it also increases the water temperature. And those marlin, they don't necessarily like it super, super hot. They like it more in that 83-degree range. So if the weather picks up and the wind picks up, that's ideal.
Final question. Tonight's the taste of the SFC. We get a little food flavor from each one of the 10 stops. Are you looking forward to a particular venue? I'm thinking maybe Cajun food at Grand Isle, Venice. I mean, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm actually looking forward to some northeastern food.
Okay.
We went to Cape May. We missed Montauk. I wish I could have gone to that one. That's kind of what I'm mostly looking forward to. We did experience a lot of Cajun food because we did many of the golf tournaments,
Right.
so I'm most looking forward to that food from the northeast.
All right, ladies. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. You good? You
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
come back and
thank
join
you.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Peter Miller's supposed to be here on site with Site 1. He should be flying in any moment. A great job on that FAD, and a great job also by Blue Tide and everyone for bringing those FADs and putting them out there, 20 plus, and just bringing the smaller fish. It will bring those blue marlin. And as they mentioned, they want this to be the blue marlin capital of the world. And the way things look today after 19 blues were caught, I think they're well on their way. Stick with us. Smart Fishing Championship. We'll talk a little more when we return from break.
A day out on the water could go great. Or it could have a few minor setbacks. Things could get rough. Or you could lose that $900 smartphone. Whatever the problem, Yugo provides unmatched premium protection for any water sports adventure. Yugo. To get yours, visit YugoWear.com or simply scan the QR code on the screen. And remember, just add water.
Slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about!
Sport fishing anglers from around the world competing for $1 million. The Sport Fishing Championship on CBS Sports Network.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
It all comes back to the water. This binding agent, this fluid history of connection. Past, present, and future, all tied together through this never-ending, unwavering force. We belong to a community of seekers, anglers, and everyone in between. For us, it's more than fishing, much more. It's who we are, who we were, and who we aspire to be. We are Smith.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua, a unique name honoring our island heritage and the vibrant spirit of our people. When you stroll our welcoming streets, when you immerse in the beauty that surrounds you, when you experience the magic of our home, you'll find that spirit in yourself. Dare to live every moment. Live Boricua.
SFC coverage of the San Juan International Billfish Tournament is sponsored by Vineyard Wind, by Audi of San Juan, and by Invincible Boats.
Oh, they got that wonderful music playing. I'm ready to get my groove on at the Taste of SFC. About to kick off here in just a few minutes. San Juan International Billfish Tournament. We're wrapping up our first day of 3 here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Club Nautico just outside the inlet there. We have the Castle San Felipe del Morro. Started back in 1539, but these anglers didn't have to go very far. You see the contour map there on our Garmin Team Spotter. About a mile and a half out, you can get 700 feet, and another couple of miles out, you're in 2,500, 3,000 feet. But looking at the fish catches this day, starting this morning with Cervecita. Javier Berrios catches the first blue marlin of the tournament. They get 350 points for that blue marlin, and each and every blue marlin, but they get the bonus. They get that extra 100 points. We work our way through the Lady Magic as well. Nick Chairman with that catch at 955. Each time during our show tomorrow, we'll have Peter Miller here. Whenever we hear that sound or we have more fish being caught, Para Papa, looking through them, trying to get who caught them. Manuel Tito Montaner. Released blue marlin by Sadi Victoria. You're going to see that name pop up throughout the event. They are tied for the lead right now with Drill Hound. Speaking of Drill Hound, at 12:10 today, it was Carlos Ortiz Vidal with their catch, and that should have been, I believe, their second catch of the day. Franco Ortiz caught one earlier in the day. Prisa at 11:36, right around that midday time. Federico Stube. Gaviota kicking it off, one of our latest. Again, they had to come in or lines in or out of the water at 5:30. But Panama Jack releasing a fish at 2:55. We saw one of the members on board earlier. We got Salvador Ejea with the catch with the backdrop of San Juan. And the crazy thing is, and you see all these fish catches, and I know this is an aerial view that we took this morning, but we take a look back with Smith Optics. They weren't that much further offshore to catch these fish. They started right there at the mouth as you entered the harbor. Now, farther away, there's a little fort there that used to shoot cannon fodder towards the camera. There's also the fort, the castle to the left. They would shoot across there. It would keep the pirates, the English, the Dutch out of the channel. We were sending these boats out to catch the mighty blue marlin. There are white marlin in these waters. There are a few sailfish in these waters, but predominantly they are looking for the blue marlin. And it makes no difference whether you catch a 100-pound blue or a 500-pound blue. But we do have a difference from the last Caribbean event. We were in Santo Domingo. They had a very short window to get those fish in. Here, they have to get the fish. Once they identify they have a hookup, they have 2.5 hours to get that big bad boy in. So again, if I'm getting the same amount of points, I want one of those little blues. If it were an event where I was bringing this fish in, I'd want a big one. This isn't about that. It's about catch and release. And so far, we have caught and released 19 blue marlin. Each and every one of these boats is part of the Sport Fishing Championship, vying for that title, but you have to fish at least 3 to qualify. Right now, Quantified is in the lead, trying to win that Zane Grey Championship trophy. About 3 foot in height, that lead crystal. You've got, the Stanley Cup, all the names associated with the trophy and the sport. Well, the world of the Sport Fishing Championship, that Zane Grey trophy is the one that everybody's vying for. Because not only do you win the trophy, you win the $1 million prize that goes with it. Peter Miller, he's going to give us a scoop. He's going to give us a breakdown tomorrow at 10 a.m. Team Quantified still the team to beat. They don't have anything today, but tomorrow is another day. Watch out for Quantified. Watch out for Bandito. Watch out for Rising Suns. They still have a shot at the championship. Who's going to take it? We'll soon find out. See you tomorrow.